Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel, and so I've been thinking a lot about the narrative of Warhammer 40K. And they seem to have created themselves a little bit of a problem getting rid of the firstborn Marines. Such a problem has actually created narrative players 10,000 years apiece. Yeah, in the grim dark of a future far future, getting rid of a firstborn has created 10,000 years of peace. That's not quite grim dark, is it? So, let me explain why. So far in the game, you can play Horus Heresy and 40k. So, Horus Heresy is a small battle. It is the Great Crusade and, of course, the wonderful War on Terror, the Siege of Terror. But there is some issues which I want to talk about with this as well. Then you got the 10,000 years up until the Indomitus Crusade with Rubute Guilliman, and then that's it. But if you had the firstborn Marines still available, you could do Armageddon, Apostasy, War of the Beast, the Badab War, let's think, the Tyrannid Invasion of Macragge, Tyrannid Invasion of Bao, the Necron Uprising, the Tau Uprising, the Aldari attack, the Yandin attacks, especially the Yandin attacks. They hate the Imperials. Especially with ally ships between the Space Marines and the Eldar. There's 10,000 years of war, which has just suddenly kind of gone bye-bye. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. So, how do we fix this? How do we fix this? If I was in Games Workshop Shoots, what I would do is create two codices. I would have a Firstborn Codice. I would have a Primaris Codice. Firstborn Codice would have a lore and timeline from Horus Heresy to the Indomitus Crusade. It wouldn't be, very in-depth lore. That would be the lore section. And all the data sheets would be Firstborn Marines. All of them. Then I'd have a Primaris Marines, which would be Indomitus Crusade onwards. Again, all the data sheets would be Primaris only, and whatever's new. So basically, you could have new Terminators in there because they are not, but they're both Firstborn and Primaris. You'd have some units that would obviously cross over both, but things like the Relic stuff and the Horus Heresy stuff and stuff like that would be in the Firstborn Codex, and everything else would be in the Primaris Codex. And of course, people would buy both still. The data sheets still won't, but the data sheets are written, the lore's written, pretty much most of it, and it gives a lot of people freedom of control over the narrative as well, and how they want to play it. Model-wise, this is another reason there's a lot of plot holes. In the Horus Heresy, a lot of models are missing. Things like the Valkyrie is missing. The Chimera chassis is missing. The Lehman Russ with both sponsons are missing. So you can see where I'm coming with this. There's so many models that you could use for Horus Heresy because they are mentioned in the lore. They've been around for absolutely ages, and that's it. And they are not available in the rules, and it's going to bar me that they're not. You could always say because they want you to buy other models. And they don't want you to buy a Valkyrie for £50. They want you to buy the Arvus Lighter for £85. Well, I want to buy the Valkyrie because it looks better. It's a better vehicle, and I would say it's a better overall choice. It's available. They used it in the Horus Heresy. It's I believe it's actually pre-Great Crusade too. I think it actually predates the Great Crusade by a while. Same with the Chimera. The Chimera is a pre-Crusade vehicle. But neither of these are available in Horus Heresy, even though both were used. They got the Baneblade and all its variants. They got the Lehman Russ and most of its variants. But the Chimera variants and the Valkyrie and what else are gone. But then that's the other thing. When they do create certain new things as well, they do put them available, and they're not mentioned in the Horus Heresy. They get Horus Heresy rules, such as the battle ordnance guns, which you get in the Ashmere Combat Patrol, which is great because they are Imperial Guard, and that's really cool. And again, you got demons, which were about in the Horus Heresy, the Hellbrood, which came at the end, And they've actually kind of made this issue worse by releasing Fulgrim, well, announcing, or releasing, depends when you watch this video, Fulgrim Ascendant. We're saying that, yeah, we're going to accept that Demon Primarchs are here. We have 3 other Demon Primarchs. We have Angron, Magnus, and Mortarion. So, why don't they have rules? So why don't they have rules for them? Because Mortarion was one of the first. He was one of the most important ones. And they said they're going to do all the Ascendant Primarchs, going to get their own rules. But there was only 6 that ascended. That was Horus, Lorgar, again, Magnus, Angron, Mortarion, and Fulgrim. They were the only ones that ascended. Kurtz didn't ascend. Perturabo, it's hard to say. Some sources say that he ascended post-heresy. Some say he ascended during the heresy. So I'm going to say post-heresy, even though I'm pretty much on the gate that they should retcon that and say he never ascended because he really hates demons. And of course, Alpha Ares and Emagon never ascended because being dead. So, there you go. So basically, there's these models available for Horus Heresy which cannot be used because they don't have the rules yet. But I've got a feeling that they're going to change the Ascendant rules for Angron and Magnus and Mortarion enough so that you can't use their plastic models, which is a shame actually. But anyway, back to the Primaris and Firstborn. See, with separate codexes for both, you would be able to, choose your army. They could also, actually work together. That they could just be literally one line in both. You can use this alongside the alternative, the other codex. Like if it's in the Firstborn, it would say you can use this codex alongside the Primaris codex. And again, with Primaris, it goes for Firstborn codex. So you could actually use it aside both. So you could use both as a single codex as well, should you wish. And then, of course, there's vehicles that would be in the Horus Heresy, which are no longer really be able to use in 40k, which again creates another plot hole. The Spartan Land Raider, the Kratos tank, the Sicarian tank, things I'm seeing right in front of me. So, with the Fire and Dreadnought in front of me as well. The Relic Contemptor Dreadnought, which is weird because you can use Contemptor Dreadnought, but you can't use the Relic Contemptor, which means you can't use the missile launcher on several weapons. Now, the Contemptor actually kind of does make sense because of how it's written in the lore. In the lore, it's written that even during the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy, they didn't know how to build them. All that had been lost. Well, the others, doesn't make sense that you can't use them. And it only increases this idea that there was 10,000 years of peace. So we have that as well. So that's what I would do. That would be my fix to this. Have these 2 separate codexes, allow them to be used simultaneously as well. So if people do want to build a Space Marine army using both Firstborn and Primaris, the options there, but they need to buy both codexes. And it's not like GW's not against making people buy 2 books to use one army. I mean, 9th edition was full of it with Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Black Templars, Death Watch. Supplements. Is that all of them? That's all of them. For your non-codex compliant Space Marine armies. And it's not the first time they've done that either. I mean, back in 8th edition, you could build super armies using different codexes. Like you could use your Debtor... No, they didn't have an 8th edition codex. I was going to say Debtor Cerritos there. You could use... Space Marine Imperial Guard and Custodes. They had an 8th edition codex. I think so. Yes, they did. They had an 8th edition codex. So you could use those 3 codexes for a super army, as well as 9th. You could do that too. So you had, choices. And again, with Chaos have always been an army where you can build these vast armies with multiple different layers. And, like if you want to build a proper Black Crusade, you would need a Chaos Space Marine army, a codex, the Thousand Sun, Death God, and obviously now World Eaters codexes too, the Demon Codex and the Chaos Knight Codex. That would build you a proper Black Crusade, and that would be great. So there you go. So that is what my issue is. Like they created this plot hole of 10,000 years of peace by accident by removing models, and it doesn't look good for 40k when you're doing that. And the best way to do it, to do this by rules is the 2 separate codexes for Space Marines. The other side to doing this is obviously the models. Warehouse space is not infinite, trust me. It's amazing how quickly warehouse space can build up. I've worked in a dispatch, I've done the pallet lifting and loading of lorries, and you'll be surprised how quickly you need to basically play Tetris with these pallets to get them into an area where you're not using up a lot of space, and space goes quick. So yeah, warehouse space isn't always available. It's fine. Now, what I would do here is, obviously they want to make and produce Primaris Marines first and foremost, have them as the most important one. Perfectly fine. That's good business, having the ones that you want to sell made more. But I would also do a click checker or something. What's it? Like, seeing how many people, when you click on like notify me, when is it? See how many click on that and email them saying, look, we're going to put these online. And so once they've done that, they see how quick a response is between buying it and is. And once they've clicked buy it now, I've heard it on, they get an email saying, we're not charging you delivery, but we're going to, it's in order to be processed, it's going to be made, and it'll give you a time limit. So don't actually take these models off the website, keep them on the website, but allow people to spy them with a time period, saying like, we're going to make these and you're not going to get them straight away, they're going to take a while. You know, they do it with other things. What do we call it? Oh, I've forgotten anyway. And do that with everything that you've taken off. And when you've replaced the model, like when you've got a new set, you see, you don't even have to change these ones either. You just disappear them, saying, look, babe, we've recast these, we've made these, like the scouts, we've made these. There you go. You get a new scout. I hope this new scouts aren't that expensive actually, because I'm actually wanting some scouts for Horus Heresy. So that's what I would do. That would be my solution to this. So people could still order what they want, and they'll be given a time frame of when it'll be made, and they'll have they'd have the Firstborn Codex, which would have all the rules and certain Codex components named characters as well. And you'd have the Primaris, but of course there would be some units that would cross over both, such as Terminators. The new Terminators, they would be on both. But like the Cataphracti and Tartaros, Terminators would definitely be Firstborn only, and things like the Eliminators would be Primaris only as well. And if you want to use both, you can use both but both books would count as a single codex, with all the detachment abilities being copied over. So basically, there'd be no new detachment abilities. They'd be the same on both sides. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on like this massive plot hole they've created by getting rid of the Firstborn Marines. There's more plot holes as well I want to talk about. And yeah, and I don't really want to do a big long video on, plot holes. But let's just do another one. Chaos Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines have the biggest, weirdest plot hole of all of them. Why do they even fight? Now, okay, let's just... First, Khorne fights because Khorne fights. But there's plenty of planets within the warp where Khorne just can create demons constantly, and he does, for people to fight. So there's Khorne sorted. Slaanesh hates the Eldari. Right, fine. I can accept that. They would want to fight the Eldari. But why fight the Orcs? Why fight the Tyranids? Why fight the Necrons? Why fight the major Imperial enemies? Yeah, those Xenos. Why fight this? This does not make any strategic sense. If they want the Emperor to die and destroy it and reclaim it, then the best bet is to let the Imperial get weakened to a point where they can no longer fight. And when that happens, come in, walk over them, and then start fighting back. Now, certain enemies, like I will talk about the Orcs, because the Orcs probably do need a bit of fighting anyway, because obviously they can be a bit annoying, but they could just scourge the planet and just go, haha, we've scourged the planet. And of course, in some lore sections such as the Night Lords, they actually believe that what they're doing is destroying the galaxy so the Imperial truth can build on top, which is fine. But again, things like the Tyranid will just totally lay bare a planet, and they can just fix that. We have seen this. There has been terraforming machines in the past. Chaos has terraforming stuff. We've seen this as well, especially with warp shenanigans, especially with Thousand Suns. And other ones, especially Nurgle, believe it or not, is very good at building life. They could just rebuild the planets after Tyranids had been with it. And secondly, like, if Nurgle did invest in the planet and it killed all the Tyranids on it, like, you know, the Tyranids destroyed the planet, Nurgle came back with all its goopiness and actually brought back life, even at a microbe level, and Tyranids became back and became poisonous. If those Tyranids couldn't get back to the hive ship, they'd never actually get an immunity to it. They would never be able to build or nor get a defense against it ever. So there could actually be the one time where this constantly would actually defeat the Tyranids, because they would never be able to defend it against it, because they'd never get back. Nurgle's rot and Nurgle's diseases and all these microbes work faster than the Tyranids. Tyranids have a very, very long time scale. So there you go. Just a couple of plot holes I was thinking about, and I'll thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's just me rambling on for 15 minutes. And if you like Wayland games, go click on them, get some money off your Warhammer, or try a different game. I always suggest try a different game, like Wild West Exodus, or Dystopian Wars, or Kings of War, anything. It's great. Thank you very much. There is Forbidden Planet and my merchandise, my comic. If you wish to support me that way, I'd rather you do that than the next one, which is Patreon. I'd always rather you get yourself something nice, because it's great. You treat yourself. It'd be fantastic. It supports the channel, and it's, you know, we all gain something from it. And get Patreon, but if you want to give me money, do. If you don't, treat yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. I've been Raziel, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.